5, 4, 3, 2, showtime.
Dos, tres, cuatro.
Hey everybody, I'm Wesley
And I'm Kathy Coleman. Hi.
And thank you for watching again. Listen, this is new for us, the podcast, so thank you for all your comments and suggestions. We're working on it. Your ideas are terrific, and we're trying to figure it all out, right?
And your encouragement really helps.
It really does. Listen, Kathy and I have done so many podcasts for other people. Well, especially during the pandemic. I think we're doing like 3 a week, everybody. In fact, tomorrow, I'm actually doing a podcast for Patrick Labrateau, who was the star of Jag and Mr. Edward's son in Little House on the Prairie. And he was my next door neighbor in Burbank with his brother who played Albert on Little House. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so today Kathy,
I think we're going to talk about our fans today.
Good idea. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So just over the years, we have met some of the most incredible people with the most wonderful stories, just heartfelt. It's really lovely.
Kathy always says that, when we're sitting behind the table at one of these conventions, guys in their 50s and 40s and 60s will come up to the table and they dissolve into little boys of 8 years old right in front of Kathy's eyes. And they're like going back to the time where they have a bowl of cereal watching Saturday morning, and you can just see the kid and all of them. It is an amazing thing to watch.
Absolutely. And we know, both of us know what it's like to sit on this side of the table and on that side of the table. And, we've met a lot of famous people at these conventions.
What's amazing is that, we get to be the fans. We'll be behind the tables, but we'll have lunch with like a Loretta Swit or somebody. It'll be Dawn Wells or John Schneider or the cast of, Lost in Space, of course. When I was a kid, Lost in Space was the big thing for me.
But we actually did a convention called Alien Con, and we had everybody from Ancient Aliens at a breakfast table that we were sitting at. And the Gorn from Star Trek, the cast from Lost in Space, and astrophysicists mixed in. It was like a horn of plenty of an
It's true, and they all wanted to get in our yellow raft, which I just love. But I got to tell you,
one of the astrophysicists, because Wesley holds up a slee stack, and we always give them like oars. Talk about being a true scientist. He was able to get the oar through the slee stack's eye in one of the photos.
I think this is what you're talking about right here. And by the way, this is fan made. Mike Westmore, who created the slee stack, was also the creator of the Monsters for Star Trek. And one day we're at the Star Trek convention, Kathy and I'm not paying any attention. I'm sitting there, and somebody lifts this thing and is moving it away. And I'm going, hey, wait. And it was Michael Westmore going, this is really good. So you fans have been amazing to us. But I got to tell you a story. Wait. I have seen Kathy fangirl out. Only once have I seen her go nuts.
But he was worth it. It was Cary Elwes from The Princess Bride. And I have 2 boys, and I raised them watching this movie. And when you have kids, they like to see the same movie.
You wish you were that girl.
No, that was me in my mind for about 3 minutes. That was me.
She was running around. She was so excited. She was getting her lipstick on. Your hair was combed. She was really like giggling.
Well, he did ask me. He said, he goes, what are you wearing? You smell really good. So to this day, I actually wear the same perfume. Thank you, Cary.
What perfume was it? What was it?
It's Chanel Noir.
But Cary had a big line around him, so Kathy had to sneak in the back and run and get special permission to go up and be next to him. She came back and she was running up to her room to check the trash can to see.
Well, because at the time the airports were confiscating large bottles of perfume. This was right after 9/11, was it?
Yeah, it was after. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I had already given the airport 3 of my bottles of really expensive perfume. So I started traveling with travel size ones. Well, I didn't know what I had put on that morning. So I made a beeline for my hotel room to see what I had thrown in the trash that morning. And it was that. So I couldn't have got to the Macy's cosmetic stand fast enough.
And she's worn that ever since.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you,
love it.
we've had some amazing experience with fans. And once Kathy and I were in Los Angeles and we were signing autographs, and this guy comes up and goes, I thought you guys spoke Farsi. I go, Farsi? And he and his brother were living in Persia, which was Persia at the time. And we were.
Well, it was Persia, and now it's Iran.
It's Iran. And we were dubbed into Farsi. So he thought we were, spoke Farsi. Well, because of Land of the Lost, he had become a scientist, and so had his brother. And they had become two heads of the Jet Propulsion Lab, JPL, in Pasadena, which has, of course, the Mars rovers. And they said, would you, Kathy, like a private tour of JPL? And we go, are you nuts? Yeah, we'd love it. So Kathy and
Another trip to a land that we're not familiar
Yes.
with.
So we were allowed into JPL, and JPL, there's certain levels of security. You can only go into certain areas. Well, they let us in every place. And the final place, which was this, we walked in this room, and it was, imagine this huge room with tons of
Screens. On the
screens,
wall.
yeah, of computers, and only one guy way back in the corner.
And it was all dark too.
We had a joystick, and he was doing it. It turns out that he was programming the Mars rovers for the next day, and he's the only guy that he had. For every Mars rover that had landed, he had been driving it, and he had a driver's license, right?
Mm-hmm.
From
It said Mars on it.
It said Mars, and he goes, "Would you like to drive the Mars rover on Mars?" And I go, "No, you got to be kidding! You're crazy." He said, "No, come on." So we got the joystick, and we watched on the computer like things move around. I don't know what they were, and we got to play with the joystick. Now, the truth is, it didn't move the Mars rover because
They program it a day ahead of time.
Right. It takes they program it, they repeat it. So whatever we did, he erased when we left. But it takes 8 hours, he said, to broadcast whatever he sends to Mars to move it the next day. But the fact that we were allowed to do that, and because when he saw us, he goes, "Land of the Lost," and that's
Land of the Lost has opened more time doorways for us. It's crazy. We get to go and visit with these celebrities that we meet, or people that have chosen these professions, and they went into like either scientists or archaeologists.
Yeah.
They've actually come to us and said, you know what? It all started with Land of the Lost.
Yep.
And just fantasizing about what their dreams and loves of life were, and that's what they became.
It's true. There was one guy that came up, he was crying. He was in his 50s, and he said, "Look, I'm sorry I'm crying." He said, when I was a kid, it was between the second and third season of Land of the Lost when we lost our dad, and our Uncle Jack came in. He said, my dad was leaving us. My mom was getting a divorce, and he said, I was devastated. I didn't think my family was going to survive, but I watched Land of the Lost, and I saw that even though your dad had left and Uncle Jack came in, the family survived. He said, it gave me the strength. He says, I don't mean to sound mushy or anything. But he said, it gave me the strength to know that things were going to be okay. And he was so grateful. And we have experiences like this all the time. There was a couple, right?
A blind couple that came to the table, and I had a Sleestack skull, a green one on my table at the time. And they were escorted up to the table by another gentleman, and they wanted to just feel the shape of the head.
Wait. They had lost their vision. They'd seen Land of the Lost as kids, and they lost their vision after they had seen Land of the Lost, and they met at a blind school. So they had Land of the Lost was their common memory.
But when they were feeling it, you could see like their memories and everything taking form. They were just, it was an amazing thing to see. And then we wound up taking photos, or I took photos with them, and the woman was kind of like petting the back of my head. And she's like, "Oh my God, look at how tall you are, and look at how long your hair is." And she was just her memory was being channeled through her touch and feel.
Yeah.
It was really, really lovely.
We get to experience this a lot. And the final story, there was a young lady that was from Compton, and she said that Compton it was really a rough neighborhood. And she said we weren't allowed to go on the streets and play. It was just too dangerous on the weekends. So we'd come home and we would play Land of the Lost. We would hide under the tables and blankets and make the caves and beastly stack. And she played Holly, and her brother played Will and stuff. She said it was the safe place and something fun they could do during the weekend without having to go outside and be in danger. And she was crying, and she said, just want to thank you guys. You gave us a childhood that we would normally have had.
And something else, I know you said that was our last story, but something else that has transpired over the years is we've met like fans of the shows, and they've become like friends of ours.
Yeah.
And they show up at numerous, different events, and they've now like started bringing like props to the show. So our like circus act has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just, we've created like this really lovely thing. Oh, that's
that picture. Oh my God. We were supposed to be live with Sid Croft on his podcast on Sunday with Sid's. We got stuck in an elevator when we were supposed to go live, and they had
it's the fire department.
It's the fire department. So I'm on the phone with Sid, said, hi Sid, I know we're live on the air, but Kathy and I are stuck in an elevator.
With another guy, and he was familiar with our show.
Oh, his
and
mom,
he
with
said,
his mom. Yeah.
After these firemen get us out of here, if that door opens up and we're in the land of the lost, you guys are in big trouble. It was hysterical. It was so funny.
Anyway, we want to thank you guys for watching the podcast again. And Chris Knight from the Brady Brothers, he and his wife and their dog got in, and his wife comes running up after they take the picture. She goes, Wesley, this is going to be our Christmas card. But we've had people like Howard White and Jack Rudd.
Oh, and Kermit got in with Guy
Gilchrist,
yeah,
who draws all the Kermits and
Muppet Babies
amazing.
And all that.
We've had these amazing experiences. But listen, we will tell you more later on another show. We decided we want to keep this brief because we don't want it to ramble on too long, because my attention span isn't that long either. It's not.
But come back and join us for our next little episode.
Yeah, and thank you guys, and thanks for all the suggestions, and hopefully we will get this down to a nice roll. Anyway, take care, and thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Mwah.